Hello art students, this is Mrs. Brand here. Today I'm going to show you how to take a photograph and turn it into a vinyl cutting. First thing we need to do is choose a photo from our Google Photos album. I have an idea which one I want to use today, and that is an image of an eye that I found painted on a truck in Soulard. So the first thing I need to do is click on this image and then download it. Then I'm going to take that downloaded image and open it up in Photoshop Elements. In order to turn this into a vinyl cutting, I need to have two values, black and white. The black part will be cut out of the vinyl, and then we can use this cutout for screen printing or even just as a decorative decal on a phone or laptop. So first thing I need to do is change the image mode from color to grayscale. And then I want to adjust the lighting by increasing the contrast. I can click on the preview button to see the difference. And then I'm going to apply a filter. Under the Filters tab, I'm going to go to Adjustments and then Posterize. When I do this, it breaks down the image into a certain number of levels. So 4 means there are 4 values making up this one image. I can use my arrow keys to go up and add more levels to define my design a little bit more. I'm going to try going back down so that I create a very simple eye shape. And then I'll say OK. Now that I have posterized the image, I can select different layers of value and combine them together in one layer to create the black cutout that I will use for my stencil or decal. So what I'm going to use is the tool called the Magic Wand. With the Magic Wand, you can adjust something called tolerance in order to select more pixels that are similar at once. I'm going to try to start with a tolerance of 42 and see what it gets me. That was actually pretty clean. I still want to get the bottom part of this iris, so I'm going to hold down Shift and click. And this looks pretty good, but there's a few areas that I can clean up by adding them to the selection. And I'm going to continue to hold down Shift as I click on those areas. This might take a minute. Okay, I think this looks pretty good. So the next thing I'm going to do is create a new layer in my layers palette, and then I'm going to fill this selection on this new layer called layer 1 with the foreground color, which is black. A quick way to do that is to hold down the key Alt and hit the button Delete, and that will automatically fill your selection with the foreground color, which in this case is black. Now I can turn the eyeball off on my background layer to see what my simple version of this eye photograph looks like. I'm really happy with the lashes, but I don't really like all of this that's happening in the bottom left corner, so I think I'm going to use the eraser tool, and I'm going to just eliminate that area. You can hold the brackets or press the brackets to make the eraser larger or smaller, and just make sure that you're on layer 1, and then you'll be able to erase the parts that you don't want to include. Alright, now I'm ready to save this as a file that I can then import into the Silhouette Studio software. So I need to go File, Save As, and I want to change this from a Photoshop format to a PNG. I'm also going to change the name to Sencil. A PNG is a graphic that does not have a background layer, so it's easier to turn something like this into an object for cutting. I'm going to switch to the Silhouette Studio application, and now I'm going to open my Sencil. I'll start by making it smaller so that it can fit in the design space. Right now it's measuring 6 inches tall by 9 inches wide. So on this toolbar on the right, I'm going to click on the Open Trace panel, and then I'm going to click on the button that says Select Trace Area. And now I can draw a box around the eye. I have two options, solid fill or outline. I want it to be outline because that's what's going to be cut, but I'm going to turn the threshold up a little bit so that it's easier for it to be cut out in one piece. And then I'll click the trace button. What it does now is it turns my graphic into a red stencil that can be cut from the vinyl that we have. Now that I have the two different files, I can minimize the traced image to keep it out of the way, and I can focus on the size that I'm going to want for my eye. If I'm going to screen print this, I might want it a little bit smaller, perhaps 7 inches wide by almost 4.5 inches tall. Now, if I want to send this to the Silhouette Cameo Final Cutter, I can click on the Send button here, and you'll see that I have a brighter red outline. So when I click on the red image that I see here in the Send tab, you'll notice that it's highlighted on the right to cut that portion. When I click on the original eye, it's now a lighter gray and it's highlighted on the right not to cut that portion. So if I were to send this to the vinyl cutter, it's only going to cut this size eye. Now it can see that the Cameo 3 is ready and it's plugged in, and then all I have to do is click send. Thank you.